It feels so good to get out of that rowdy guild hall. And since we're in the neighborhood, there's an exhibit on local history that I'm dying to see. How do you feel about a quick museum visit?
I'm up for it. It's gotta be better than work, which is admittedly a low bar.
I think you'll be impressed by this exhibit. Rafta's a fascinating place after all. No legendary weapons here. Everything that the heroes took into battle with Maven was destroyed. But there's one artifact from that battle I never get tired of looking at. It's not far from here. This is more like it! The great outdoors and a big monster corpse! What could be better? That Kraken skull is a cornerstone of this island's history. I assume you know the story?
Yeah, but I'd love to hear your version. After all, you're the hero history buff.
You don't have to ask me twice. It all started with Maven, the so-called Witch Queen. She claimed this island as her own, used it as a sort of free-range laboratory for all sorts of wicked experiments. The first settlers of this very town were her unwilling accomplices. She used her mind control powers to prevent them from leaving. Under her sway, they did all sorts of labor for her. They even constructed that big monument to Maven in the bay. Her reign of terror went on for years before a brave band of heroes decided that enough was enough. They sailed here to liberate the island. Maven summoned a Kraken from the depths, intending to stop them from ever setting foot here. She didn't care who got flattened in the process. The heroes eventually got the best of the monster, but not before it had knocked their ship right out of the water. And to think I'm now living inside that very ship. I'm pretty sure my cot is set up right where Lore Master Lauren used to store his books. I feel so honored by that, and so inspired, and, well, sometimes I feel like an imposter. Like a kid who's playing dress-up.
You should be kinder to yourself.
I know I should. That's why we're here. I just need to connect to this place. I need to feel the history and my place in it.
Feeling better already?
I'm feeling inspired. I'm glad we came here, and I'm glad they left that skull right where it fell. It's a tangible piece of our history, and a reminder of why we need heroes.
Heroes like you.
Ha, I'm not there yet, but I won't give up on my goals. I'm keeping my eye on the prize.
I'm feeling inspired to do the same.
And we better get back to our respective quests. After all, you and I both have great feats to accomplish.
I shall make a confession, Sylvia, now that we are away from the ears of the marketplace. In all my many months spent in Rafta, I have not yet made time to admire its most famous landmark.
Hey, you've been busy, right?
Nay, gentle Sylvia, make no excuses for me. Say instead that we shall rectify this problem. For rectify it we shall, together. This very day, this very moment! Because it is right over there, you see it? Tut, I do not know what to think, Sylvia. I do not know how to feel. My gut is a swirl of indistinct emotions, like fish beneath the ice. On the one flipper, this statue is unquestionably an impressive display of prowess. On the other, it represents an ugly history.
What history is that?
The story goes that this statue was erected by many hands under much duress. They say Maven turned her great mental powers on the people, that she wielded them as tools. And thus, the crux of my confusion. Can I admire the artwork in isolation from the context of its creation?
Yes. Art should be judged independently of the flaws of the artist.
I respect your opinion. I should even like to agree with you, and yet, as artists, it would be the height of hubris to imagine that our creations exist outside of history or politics, or our own biases and agendas. Perhaps it is easier for me to see this as one whose art is literally shaped by the undying presence of previous generations. My art is an expression of where I came from, and who I am now, and how I live in this world. And so, I find I cannot see beauty in a creation that is tainted by such ego and cruelty as this. At best, perhaps I can learn from its technical proficiency. If nothing else, it is impressive in that regard.
You're pretty impressive yourself. I bet you could do better with the right resources.
You flatter me, I think. Yet, you also inspire my competitive spirit. So if you find yourself in possession of 300 tons of granite, I should be happy to try to outdo it. And what a feat that would be, eh? To match its balance of formal elements. To find such an impactful use for anti-gravity enchantments.
Sounds like you could teach a class on this stuff.
I would rather do than teach, and I would much rather outdo than imitate. It is intimidating, however, the thought of creating some great work in a land where it will be compared to this one. Fortunately, I have developed a tough skin for critics. That is necessary in our line of work, is it not? To fortify our egos. To reinforce our very souls against undeserved hostility.
I can take anything they throw at me.
Good! Then let us return now to our own endeavors. I do not like how this statue's eyes seem to follow us.
I hope you can overlook the throbbing vein in my temple, Sylvia. Generally, I'm quite good at keeping my composure when upset, but that vein will betray me every time. Stay for a spot of tea? I'm brewing some as we speak. Careful, it's hot. It's an interesting variety I found at the marketplace. It was quite inexpensive, and it also varnishes brooms. Sugar helps.
The tea is great. But why don't you tell me what got you upset?
As a matter of fact, I'm just back from seeing Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn can have that effect.
I know they're a friend of yours, so I thought of them when it came time to sell the bits I'd harvested from that forest slime. And would you believe Quinn offered me next to nothing for my goods?
You want me to talk to Quinn? Maybe rough him up a bit for you.
Well, it's kind of you to offer, but I'm not sure you'd win that tussle. Anyway, Quinn isn't the problem. I saw 3 other merchants and they all gave me a similar quote. Low-level monster guts just aren't worth all that much, and they're worth less every day as we gain access to more potent and dangerous reagents. I did the math, Sylvia. A hero would have to bag 30 of these things to afford a single meal.
Well, you're used to pretty exorbitant meals. But I take your point. It's hard work to be a hero.
I knew it was hard work. I knew it was dangerous work. I had naively assumed the compensation would reflect that.
So, heroes don't get any sort of salary?
The guild pays each hero a token stipend. The sum is so small it's mostly a formality. The bulk of a hero's income is meant to come from quest fees and from the loot they sell. That can be lucrative, in theory. Every once in a while, a hero will stumble upon a genuine treasure trove. But statistically speaking, they're twice as likely to be struck by lightning, and 3 times as likely to be implanted with a subcutaneous egg-sac. And then, of course, if they do strike gold, the guild always gets a substantial cut.
It sounds like the solution is simple. The smaller the guild's cut, the more gold you're putting in the pockets of the heroes.
If only it were as easy as that. Alas. The Heroes Guild is a for-profit enterprise. It's a machine designed to generate revenue and to put that revenue into the hands of the stakeholders.
Meaning your family.
That's right. They've invested quite a lot to get this chapter up and running. An endeavor such as this, it isn't inexpensive. And they expect to see a significant return on their investment. So far, everything appears to be on track. If the guild is a machine, then it is a very efficient one. Therefore, from the company's point of view, nothing at all is wrong. Everything is working precisely as intended. Voluntarily reducing our profit in order to enrich our contractors? Out of the goodness of our hearts? It simply isn't done. It flies in the face of the company's entire purpose.
But morale is obviously important to you, even if there isn't a line for it on the company ledgers.
That's the truth, and it's the crux of my dilemma. But while I don't yet have any answers, I feel hopeful. After all, it's only after a problem's been identified that it can be resolved. The trick now is simply to find the common ground. That's the best way to ensure everyone comes away satisfied.
I can see how that philosophy could work for me, too.
You're already doing it! After all, you and I come from different worlds. But you have always felt like a kindred spirit.
You're sweet. I like that about you.
I am happy that you enjoy it. And if you like sweetness, perhaps I can get you a bit more sugar for your tea? I notice you haven't touched it, and I feel we should drink it down quickly. Before it melts my good porcelain.
Did I forget to lock up again?
Well, if it isn't the champion of Rafta.
Roxanne? What are you doing here? Take the owl, not me.
I have to say, winning that competition doesn't seem to have turned things around much. If this is the state of things after a victory, one has to wonder what rock bottom would look like.
Are you serious right now with the insults? How many times do I have to beat you before you finally lose the ego?
You think keeping my chin up in the face of adversity is a flaw? Darling, it's my greatest strength. Well, second greatest. And so you know, I've lost more than you realize. Letting my mask drop felt exhilarating in the moment, but I'm paying the price for it now. Therefore, after great deliberation, I've decided to take you up on your offer.
My offer?
Of help, yes.
Oh, right. You want like a discount or...
What I need, for the time being, is a place to stay. And I noticed your basement is going unused.
I have a basement?
Didn't you know? There's a trapdoor beneath the rug over there. You must have noticed the creaky, uneven floorboards.
I chalked it up to shoddy workmanship. That didn't feel like much of a stretch. Psst, Owl, you didn't think to mention that we have a basement?
Your uncle was expanding, but the workers quit when they struck lava. So it isn't finished. Also, as mentioned, there's lava. And anyway, I've had other things on my mind.
I can't believe it. A whole basement. And to think, I've been sleeping on an old chair.
I doubt the space would serve you as a bedroom. It's gloomy down there and quite hot. Not very comfortable for humans, but it suits me perfectly.
Knock yourself out. I obviously wasn't using it.
That's marvelous news, particularly since I've already moved in. You're quite a heavy sleeper, you know, but I'll make it worthwhile for you. I know you've been trolling town for haggling tips. Have you tried a bit of sleight of hand? It's all about drawing the eye to what you want them to see.
I'll admit, that's not a bad technique.
I'll be putting it to use soon. I've no time to lick my wounds and no desire to dwell on my defeat. My potions racket may have gone belly up, but I've got a new venture. One that will make use of my honest talents.
Which talents? Your magnetic personality?
And here I thought you were somehow immune to my charms. I meant enchanting, actually. It's the process of using magic to confound and delight the senses. With my abilities, even a drab, everyday potion can be elevated into something extraordinary. I can make it taste sweeter, sound better, look more enticing. You can see how that might come in handy, hmm?
Yeah, that could be the edge I need.
Come down and see me sometime, and I'll show you what I've got.
Thank you for having me over, Sylvia. I appreciate the offer of tea and the opportunity to spend some quality time in your abode.
Sorry, it's sort of a mess.
Hey, I live outdoors, remember? It takes more than a bit of clutter to scare me off. Although, now that I take a closer look, this place doesn't appear entirely sound, structurally speaking. You should be okay for a little while, though, assuming there's not an earthquake or a stiff breeze.
It's a work in progress, but it's coming along. It doesn't even smell like owl droppings anymore. Well, either that or I've just gotten very used to the smell of owl droppings.
It's not so bad a smell. Before I made this hat, it was a rare day I didn't get some kind of poop in my hair. As for the shop, as works in progress go, it's an impressive one. I'd like to help with it if I can. How about I take care of that leaky roof for you?
You don't have to do that.
I know I don't have to, but I'd like to. And it would be rude to deny a guest, don't you think? Now, hold my tea. All done. It's just a patch job, but it should hold for maybe a decade or two.
You're seriously impressive, Saffron. How did you get to be so good at this stuff?
It was out of necessity. When I was younger, I spent a good amount of time on a sailing vessel. Things would break, they'd need fixing. Silky was the alpha of our little group. As the strongest, he acted like the role of handy person was his by right. But he was all thumbs, and he often forgot his own strength. He'd break two things while fixing one. I learned a lot by watching him, though. And when I showed him what a bit of finesse could do, he stepped aside and left the repair work to me.
Life on a ship must have been exciting.
I loved having the freedom to travel, to see the world. It was easily my favorite thing about being a hero.
Wait, you were a hero? Did I know that? I don't think I knew that.
Well, now you do. Does it change your opinion of me?
Kinda hot. You're so chill all the time, but you've got this mysterious past.
Oh, you like a woman of mystery, do you? I'll see if I can scratch that itch for you. However, I don't consider myself a secretive person. I'm not actively hiding anything. I'm simply more interested in what's in front of me than what's behind.
There must be a story there, though.
Not really. Being a hero just didn't suit me. I'm much happier now, having left all that in the past. And I still help people in my own way. In fact, it isn't flashy, but I've got a coupon here just for you.
Wow! You're a hero in my book.
You're adorable. Now how about brewing a fresh pot? I've just noticed an uneven shelf and a warped baseboard, and you know me. I can't stand idly by when there are improvements to be made.
As you can see, I've hit the ground running with my new enterprise. But cash flow is still a minor issue. Care to help me box up a few things for the pawn shop? Unless you'd rather just stand there and gawk.
Wait a minute. Is this my uncle's stuff you're planning to sell?
Whatever gave you that idea?
This broom polo trophy for most combative player has my uncle's name right on it.
Well, now I see where you got your argumentative streak.
Oh, whatever. It's not like I was using any of this. And I don't want to be tripping over Oswald's old junk any more than you do.
I could certainly use a bit more elbow room down here. And yet, I shouldn't like to get too comfortable. It's more than a little embarrassing, you know, running a business out of someone else's basement.
People are less judgmental than you think. Maybe if you gave them a chance.
Spoken like someone who's never been pelted with rotten fruits or chased with a pitchfork. People are animals, Sylvia, and they sniff out every weakness. Don't ever believe otherwise. Not that I'd admit that to just anyone. I can bite my tongue when I'm playing the humble shopkeep. After all, the key to a successful sale often comes down to making your customer feel welcome, wanted. Butter them up with a bit of flattery and they'll open their wallets. Believe me.
Yeah, I can do that. Although, it's a little bit manipulative, isn't it?
Ah, you're catching on. Who says you can't teach an old slob new tricks?
No one. Literally no one says that.
Regardless, I think you'll agree that such pearls of wisdom are worth a few square feet of basement. Not to mention the access you now have to enchantments. I'm quite skilled at the craft. And I assure you, this time around, the services I'm offering are legitimate.
Why weren't you using these skills to begin with?
Frankly, the margins on potion making are better. Enchanting requires a plethora of ingredients, usually rare ones. Whereas when you're making potions, you can simply throw any number of things into a pot.
That might be true if you're making a fake potion. The real thing is more complicated than that.
Sure, you know the difference. The average consumer, not so much. In fact, it's thanks to my talent for enchanting that I was able to fool so many for so long. My potions were little more than water and dyes, but the bottles they came in, oh, that's where the real magic was all along. So just imagine the results you could get combining my skills with your own. Go on, imagine it. I'll wait.
You've won me over, hottie. I confess I'm feeling enchanted already.
You know, if you wanted to flatter me, you might have tried throwing our match. Now focus, please. My eyes are up here. It occurs to me that despite my better judgment for the time being, we're in this together. As long as I'm operating out of your basement, I will benefit from your success, and vice versa. So let's put all the nastiness away and try to get along, shall we?
Yeah, I was never really all that nasty though, was I?
Dear thing, if this arrangement is to have any chance of working, you really must stop setting up such tantalizing put-downs.
Now, where did I put that dustpan?
Hey, sorry to barge in like this. Can I hang out in here for a minute? I'm trying to give somebody the slip.
Yeah, of course. I'll put up my clothes sign and lock the door behind you.
That's good of you.
Are you in some kind of trouble? Should I call the guard?
It's nothing serious, just some guy with a camera. And no respect for a person's privacy. But hey, this is a cool shop. I dig the whole vibe.
Thanks. I'm Sylvia, and this is my place.
Right on, Sylvia. I've always been so impressed by potion makers. That's a skill I just don't have.
I'm guessing you're some kind of performer? You've got the look.
Guessed it in one. Yeah, I'm a bard. I've been playing at the Heroes Guild. It's the most fun I've had in ages. Demanding work, though. Heroes get rowdy between quests. Between that and staying one step ahead of nosy journalists, I'm practically asleep on my feet.
Well, you're welcome to rest here as long as you need.
I appreciate that. Seriously. But it looks like the coast is clear out there. And I've got to get back to the guild hall before Baptiste takes to the stage with his amateur ventriloquism routine. Thanks for letting me hide out. That was cool of you, Sylvia. I hope I'll see you around.
She was nice. And clearly juggling too much. I can relate. I bet a mana potion would be just the pick-me-up she needs. I should really learn that automated broom and mop spell.
Sylvia, hi, I'm Luna. It is a real pleasure to meet you.
That's the warmest welcome I've had in a long time.
It's no less than you deserve. I mean, I saw you at the competition. The whole town did. Cool under pressure, knowledgeable and confident. I'm talking about you, FYI. But are you ready to seize the opportunities that your victory is bringing your way?
Are we flirting right now? Because I'm kind of into it.
Ha! All that and funny too? You are the full package, Sylvia. As for me, I'm here in my capacity as founder and sole proprietor of Rafta's newest, best, and boldest marketing agency. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I even need marketing, Luna? I'm killing it without resorting to your absurd tricks, Luna. Shut up about marketing and take a day off before you crash and burn, Luna! Well, I'm biased, I know, but I still think marketing is the right choice for your business. Rafta's economy is in constant flux. It's total chaos. At least, it appears to be. But getting the right message out there at the right time, TLDR, it gives you an advantage. And I would like to humbly suggest that you enjoy having one of those.
It would be a nice change of pace. Being the underdog gets old.
I knew you'd see the sense in it.
Well, you certainly make a compelling pitch.
Aw, thanks. Anyone who's selling anything should refine their elevator pitch, you know? Start strong and the sky's the limit.
I can see the wisdom in that.
I know, right? So listen, come by my office soon. We'll take chaos in our hands, squeeze it and smother it and crush it, Sylvia. We'll crush it! It'll be fun, I promise.
Tell me more about yourself. I'm curious.
Oh, sure. I have a copy of my CV that you can take with you. It lists everything. Degrees, internships. It basically starts in kindergarten and keeps going.
That's good information to have if we're going to be in business together.
I know, right? You get it.
But I'm also curious about you as a person. What's your story?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, where to begin?
Well, are you new to town?
Oh, yes. I've only been here a few months. I'd been working for a big marketing firm on the mainland, and I was really good at it. But I wanted to branch out and do my own thing. Spread my wings a little, you know? And there's no better place for that than RAFTA. I don't have to tell you that, though, do I? We're both here to find success on our own terms. I confess I know quite a bit about you. I do my homework on potential clients, you see.
Ooh, my very own stalker. I like it.
Sylvia! Don't tease me, I'll bluff. I only did some light digging. It's good business sense to know who I'm going to be working with. But more than that, I think of marketing at its best as a tool for elevating worthy people and ideas. You might not be the most lucrative or stable client I could pursue.
Hard to argue with that.
But you have so much potential for success, Sylvia. You've got skill and ambition, and from what I can tell, you like what you do. If I can help give you a boost towards success, then I feel like I'm using my own talents for good, and maybe even having a positive impact on your life.
That's refreshingly big-hearted.
Oh, don't be fooled. I can be a total mercenary when I need to be. But I'll work hard for you, Sylvia, if you'll let me. I'll even give you more pointers in case they're helpful. For instance, as young business owners, we have stressful lives. But keep in mind, stress doesn't have to be a bad thing. You don't have to let the anxiety of the job sweep you away. You can lean into it and ride it like a wave instead.
A positive spin on stress? I like that.
Helping people see things in a new light is all a part of the job. And I'm good at what I do. I mean, just look at that CV, Sylvia. It's a thing of beauty.
business is booming, Sylvia. So much so that this little supply run has proven necessary. I'm perilously low on gemstones, so keep an eye out for all that glitters. There, success! I should have everything I need. He even threw in a free pair of earrings. I'll have to remove the casing, but the stones will be of use.
How did you do that? He warmed up faster than ramen on a fire rune.
I only turned on the charm a little, batted my lashes, laughed at his jokes. It works every time, whether you're buying or selling.
Okay, I'm not above trying that. And hey, speaking of flattery, I gotta say, I'm impressed. You're doing good work, Roxanne. Glad it's paying off.
Yes, I've made strides in a short time. And to think, I've done it all on my own.
You're a force of nature. Totally unstoppable.
Taking some of my advice to heart, I see. Careful not to lay it on too thick, though.
So, what's next for you? You gotta seize on your momentum, right? Have you thought about advertising?
Oh no, I'm afraid that would be a grave mistake. This little operation of mine isn't entirely legal, after all.
Wait, what? Roxanne, you told me you were going legit.
I told you I was making use of my legitimate talents, and that's true. But this town and all its rules, it's positively tedious to do anything by the book. It's no wonder I became a con artist. And you know, I've run some pretty marvelous rackets over the years.
How exactly are you breaking the law?
Such a stickler. Honestly, I'm barely doing anything wrong this time. However, to operate a business in this town, you're required to secure a business license.
I know all about it. It's not really such a hassle.
Easy for you to say. You were able to take the shortcut. Anyone with a degree from an accredited college is automatically issued a license to operate a business here. It's all part of some initiative to attract so-called talented people to Rafta. Everyone knows you recently obtained your degree. You tend to bring it up every 5 minutes.
I'm not sure that's true.
Whereas I never had that particular opportunity.
All right, so the shortcut isn't an option for you. What's the normal procedure like?
Well, I'd have to pay a fee, submit some paperwork, and pass an exam of some sort.
Is that all? That doesn't sound so bad.
Are you certain? It all sounds perfectly tedious to me. Anyway, what's the point? If I get caught cutting corners, I'll just move on to the next racket.
I don't want you to leave, Roxanne. I'm beginning to enjoy your company.
I knew you'd get attached, but so quickly? You have a point, though. It would be interesting to see what might develop in my life. If I weren't forced to pull up stakes and move on every few months. All right, I'll do it. I'll get my license. And I'll look good doing it.
I should probably warn you, nobody looks good in their license photo.
Nonsense. The trick is to elongate your neck, smile with your eyes, and threaten the photographer with bodily harm.
so peaceful here. What if I just stuck around instead of going back to the shop?
You're welcome to, although I may have to put you to work. How are you at wood joinery? Have you mastered the half-blind dovetail, mortise and tenon?
To be honest, I'm not sure wood joinery is a particular talent of mine.
I'm teasing. You're welcome to just relax here. I try to make my friends feel welcome. And my customers, too. It's important to establish a meaningful and deep connection so they don't feel rushed out the door.
Thanks for the tip.
The pleasure's mine. And while you really are welcome to hang around here, I had a notion to see more of the sights. And no trip into town is the same without the companionship of my favorite tour guide. It's not so crowded down here, and the breeze is pleasant. I can see why people like the beach, even if it looks a bit naked without any trees.
It's more romantic than the forest. The sound of the waves, the salty air.
Oh, I don't know. There are plenty of nice spots in the forest I could show you, and maybe I will. Personally, I find the looming monstrous skull over there to be a fairly potent turnoff. I'd forgotten they just left that thing there. I keep thinking someone will remove it. It's been 20 years since a band of heroes landed on this beach, intent on hunting down the island's wicked queen. 20 years since those heroes slayed the queen's pet kraken, at great cost to themselves and to the town. Many lives were lost that day, and the kraken's corpse was left to rot. Now, with the island populated once more, the locals are treating the skull like some sort of monument. What's the thinking behind that, do you reckon?
It's important to memorialize our fallen, heroes and civilians both. If we pledge to never forget them, then their deaths won't have been in vain.
You have a good heart, Sylvia. And I like that you see good intentions at play here. But I can't help seeing the skull as a morbid choice of memorial. And I've tried very hard to put the memory of that dark day behind me.
Hold on. Do you mean... Saffron? Were you there that day?
I was.
We don't have to get into it. We came here to enjoy the beach. Maybe we can just put our blankets down somewhere else.
I think it's better if I just head home. I'm sorry, Sylvia. I don't mean to be dramatic, and you've done nothing wrong. But I know when I'm bound to be poor company, and I'd prefer to spare you that. You enjoy the beach, and I'll see you another day, okay?
Sand rarely comes to mind for its utility as an artistic medium. To which I say, for shame! Sand is miraculous! It can be molded to near any shape with ease. It is like water that holds its form, or molten metal that you can touch.
But it doesn't hold a shape for long. A sand sculpture wouldn't be very permanent.
And what is permanent? Eventually, wave or wind will return any sculpture to its base elements. With sand, that process is accelerated. This feels honest. It is a reminder of the great folly in chasing permanence of any kind. Besides, there is pleasure to be found in getting your flippers dirty. Well, it is a work in progress, yes? Every artist struggles through the process of the creation. The important thing is to end strong. In haggling, too, save your greatest burst of enthusiasm for your closing argument. Say it with zeal. Buy it now, or regret it always!
I can do that!
Nicely done! Nicely done. We have come far together, Sylvia, don't you think? It was on this very stretch of sand that I first set foot to Rafta's shores. And now, here we are, trading techniques and making small artworks together.
It's romantic out here. I mean, if you can look past the gigantic, imposing kraken skull.
I find myself in agreement. The waves themselves whisper to me of your grace. Let us therefore pay no heed to that memento mori, that calcified calamari. Now is not the time for us to contemplate death. Now is the time to celebrate life through the art form known as poetry!
Poetry? Moktuk, do you write poetry?
When the mood strikes me. And last night, strike me it did!
Well, let's hear it.
Embers burning red, flaming forge of creation. Your hair is pretty. That's it! Haha! So, what do you think?
I loved it. Moktuk, is there anything you can't do?
I cannot play stringed instruments. You see, I have no fingers. But what was that? You loved it, you said? Then I am triumphant! Sylvia, it was your companionship that inspired me to write it. You have been very forward in your pursuit of friendship. And, I think, in your pursuit of something more, perhaps. I have long shirked romance, fearful that it might distract from my work. And yet, your presence is no distraction. It is the farthest thing from distraction. Sylvia, you inspire me at every turn. Romance, ambition, artistic fulfillment. Is it possible for one walrus to have it all? With you, I dare to think it might be possible.
Oh, it's possible. I want to make all your dreams come true. Especially the dream where you have an amazing girlfriend by your
Well, how embarrassing for me to lure you here with promises of poetry. Only to find myself at a loss for words.
I know you like to shout, but maybe there are times when it's okay to be a little quiet.
You're right, of course you are. Silence is best when appreciating such an exquisite piece of art.
You mean me? Or that statue over there?
You're beautiful, Sylvia. And if you let me, I should like to tell you so. Every day.
owls ever go bald?
Sylvia, you are one talented witch.
Whoa! Where did you come from?
I'm traveling in style these days. Makes it easier to avoid nosy journalists without having to duck into random shops. Although I'm awfully glad I ducked into yours. The potion you sent me was out of this world.
I'm glad you liked it.
Did I ever? My vocal cords are still thrumming with energy. I even mesmerized a heckler in the middle of my set. I feel like I could take on a monster.
Maybe you should put that to the test. I hear the guild is recruiting.
And do you think I have what it takes to go out there and be a hero? I'm not sure. Making music is my calling. It's who I am. But I'll admit, the idea has me intrigued. I'm Sid, by the way. I should have introduced myself before.
Nice to meet you officially, Sid. Although, I suddenly can't shake the feeling that I know you from somewhere.
Well, you might, actually. My stage name is Sidriel.
Wait, no. Are you the Sidriel? Superstar singer Sidriel?
One and the same. But keep it under wraps, if you don't mind. Trying to keep a lower profile these days.
You're doing a good job. I don't think I ever would have seen through your disguise.
Funny to think of this look as a disguise. This is the real me. From my point of view, Sidriel feels more like the disguise. My usual look is calculated for mass appeal. Bottle blonde hair, lip gloss, and a very reasonable number of piercings. Turns out, left to my own devices, I've got a freak flag that needs to be flown. The fact that people don't recognize me is a nice bonus.
And the guy you were avoiding the other day...
A paparazzo chasing a rumor. Thanks to you, he didn't get a good look at me. So for now, I'm flying under the radar. I get the enjoyment of playing music for the Heroes Guild. Without the pressure that comes from being known, I guess.
Well, your secret is safe with me.
I had a feeling, Sylvia. You just got one of those faces. And your gift was so thoughtful. I didn't like the idea of lying to you after that. You should come by the guild hall sometime. We could hang out. Until then, stay cool. Hey, Sylvia, you found me. I was hoping you would, because I've got news. Big news. Momentous, life-changing news. How's that for hype? My manager would be so proud.
I'm definitely curious.
I'll cut right to it. I've been thinking about how supercharged I was on your potion, and about how you said that I might have what it takes to be a hero. So I decided to give it a shot. I've officially joined the Heroes Guild.
You'll have more fun as a hero. Fighting monsters sounds way more exciting than performing in a guild hall.
Well, hold on. I'm not hanging up my instrument or anything. The heroing is more of a side gig. It might seem completely disconnected from my music career, but that's not really true. All of the most popular songs are about heroic exploits, after all. You have to figure that having a few exploits of my own will help me connect with the material, help me sell the emotion behind it.
What about romantic exploits? Any plans there?
Well, I'm single at the moment. Guess I'll have to see who catches my eye, won't I? Assuming I have time for that sort of thing. Banter aside, I've got to keep my skills sharp. Baptiste still wants me playing here as much as possible, and it took some work to convince him that I could swing both responsibilities at once.
How'd you win him over?
Same as always. I made my case, in the form of a song.
The guild's got a singer, a real go-getter. The shows are great, but they'd be better if she were a hero. So come on, won't you let her?
Once he started humming that to himself, I knew I had him. Maybe that's a lesson you can use. The surest way to win people over is with a little jingle.
I'll keep it in mind during my own song and dance.
Good. After all, merchants are performers too. At least, the good ones are. I'm glad you dropped in on me, Sylvia. And I hope you'll keep me in mind for all your heroing needs. I'm green, but I'm eager. Oh, and I'm affordable too.
Now that's music to my ears. I was thinking about getting some ice cream. You want in?
I don't know. I might not be good company today.
No change there, am I right?
Ooh, zinger. Better watch out, Sylvia. I might be rubbing off on you.
We can discuss the implications of that over ice cream.
And that's another one of my tricks. Stoking someone's interest gently and then adding fuel to the fire. That's a good move.
Whatever it takes to get my way.
All right, killer. You win. Ice cream it is. Life's full of tough choices. Decision fatigue is real. So, I'm just gonna get one of everything. Yeah, I overindulge sometimes. Blame the deprivations of my childhood.
Ice cream. I love it a lot.
That's what I like about you, Sylvia. You enjoy the simple pleasures, and you don't pry.
I mean, I wouldn't mind knowing more about you. Considering we've spent so much time together, I don't know that much about you.
Well, sure, no. I like sleeping. I eat stuff I shouldn't eat. Sometimes I get visions.
What about friends or family? Where did you grow up?
I've been on my own a long time, Sylvia. Just me and Boxer against the world.
Boxer. That's your mimic, right?
He's the best mimic ever. I found him when he was just a little thing. He was mimicking a shoebox. Almost took my hand off. That's when I fell in love with him. I couldn't believe someone had just left him to fend for himself. People suck. They should all be lowered into vats of acid, one toe at a time.
Some people, maybe. But you're a person, and it sounds like you did right by Boxer.
Well, we're a team. He keeps my stuff safe. I discard his leftover carcasses. So far, it's worked out all right. And... Hey, wait a minute! Curse it! You tricked me into talking about my feelings.
I like seeing this side of you. It's nice to get a little peek past your walls.
You sound like the world's least interesting peeping Tom. But that's all you're getting out of me today. Push me on this, and Boxer will eat you.
Because he's a good boy.
A good boy. Have you met him? He's the best boy, Sylvia. The best.